This is News Tonight on GHOne TV, Out of Stories. Speaker Agyabeng apologizes to judiciary for conduct of MPs adverting of CJ nominee, warning of decisive action on future acts of indiscipline.
I wish to reaffirm Parliament's unwavering respect for the judiciary as a co-equal arm of government.
Investigation into August's helicopter crash attributes national tragedy to sudden loss of altitude and lift due to downdraft without any corresponding pilot error or mechanical failure.
These safety equipment would have enhanced situational awareness. For instance, it didn't have an autopilot, that's advanced, the automatic flight control system, so that the crew had to manually fly the plane.
20 days after being admitted to bail, former NSA Deputy Executive Director GHOne released after satisfying 10 million cedis bail conditions. In business, high expectations ahead of 2026 budget presentation, with players in the downstream energy sector demanding accountability of the $1 Ghana cedi fuel levy. And on the international front, Ethiopia to host the United Nations COP32 Climate Summit in 2027, fending off a rival bid from Nigeria. These stories and many others coming up in the next 60 minutes. Stay with us here on News Tonight. You're welcome to this broadcast is live from our Platinum Place studio here in Accra, Ghana. My name is Emmanuel Agyabeng. We begin at the courts, and a former Deputy Executive Director of the National Service Authority, Gifty Oware-Mensah, has been released on bail after executing the conditions of a 10 million cedis bail 20 days after being admitted to bail. Gifty Oware-Mensah, who has been accused of causing financial loss of more than 38 million cedis to the state, has denied all the charges leveled against her. The former deputy NSA boss was in the company of her husband and lawyer Opoku Edusei. A member of parliament was Antiachem to have the bail bond signed. On October 22, the High Court in Accra admitted her to bail in the sum of 10 million cedis with 3 sureties, 2 of whom should be justified. Justice Audrey Kukuvite, the presiding judge, said the sureties should place copies of their passports and Ghana cards with the registry of the court. The court also directed that the accused person should surrender all her travel passports to the court while also placing her on the stop list at all entry points. The court ordered that she should report to the case investigator on the 1st and 3rd Tuesdays of every month, while the investigator is to file a scheduled report on the last working day of every month. Let's head to Parliament now, because Speaker Agyabeng has directed leadership of the Appointments Committee to ensure that the highest level of civility, objectivity and institutional respect is maintained at all of its future proceedings. This follows the exchange that stalled proceedings of the committee for hours during the vetting of Chief Justice nominee Paul Bafuboni. Speaker of Parliament Agyabeng, in his address to the House today, expressed deepest apologies on behalf of the legislature and gave assurances of Parliament's respect for the judiciary and its members. He warned members against acts of indiscipline, saying that he will act decisively going forward.
Certain comments and conduct of some honorable members during the said proceedings, which may have appeared discourteous or disrespectful to the distinguished members of the judiciary in attendance. Such conduct, though not representative of the collective will of Parliament, is regrettable and inconsistent with the decorum expected of members under the standing orders of the Parliament of Ghana. Order 123, Rule 3, cautions members against imputing improper motives or using words that are disrespectful or likely to cause offense. As Speaker, I wish to reaffirm Parliament's unwavering respect for the judiciary as a co-equal arm of government under Article 125, Clause 1 of the 1992 Constitution, which vests the judiciary power of Ghana in the judiciary. The doctrine of separation of powers requires that all three arms of government relate to one another with mutual respect and restraint. On your behalf, I extend our deepest apologies and assurances of Parliament's continued respect for the judiciary and its esteemed members.
Our Deputy Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Rita Na Odole-Sowa, has reaffirmed the government's commitment to structured spatial planning as a key driver of Ghana's sustainable development agenda. She was speaking at the launch of a revised manual for the preparation of spatial plans, zoning guidelines and planning standards to promote coordinated and sustainable spatial development across the country.
The launched revised manual for spatial plans and zoning guidelines is to promote coordinated and sustainable land use nationwide. Deputy Local Government Minister Rita Na Odole-Sowa has urged MMDCEs to prioritize effective spatial planning to create safe and resilient communities.
Going to empower the MMDCEs more, I believe. And I strongly want to urge them that we need to work with the document. Sometimes, like you said, you see a development coming up and then they'll go and write stop work and the development goes on and then they stop work and by the time we realize they are roofing and then it's like, oh, the person has completed it so we cannot do anything about it. But it's high time we desist from that. The MMDAs should be up and doing to ensure that the works department, the development planning department, they should work together as a team and ensure that if somebody doesn't have a permit to develop a particular area, we should not allow that.
LUSPA CEO Dr. Kojo Yeboah said the revised document will guide MMDAs to prevent industrial pollution in residential areas and promote economic stability and environmental protection.
Zoning guidelines and planning standards play an essential role in promoting orderly and sustainable community development by separating incompatible land uses, protecting health and safety, and guiding organized growth. They prevent issues like industrial pollution in residential areas, direct development for specific purposes, support infrastructure planning, promote economic stability, and safeguard environmental and historical resources. The revised spatial planning documents present an opportunity to transform spatial planning practices in Ghana.
The manuals align with national laws including the Land Use and Spatial Planning Act 2016, Act 925, and are being implemented by GIZ in partnership with the Finance Ministry.
Worked in close collaboration with them. We've also organized and supported, in collaboration with LUSPA, several different workshops involving the different institutions, agencies and ministries that are having specific standards that needs to be taken into consideration in the guidelines. And in that sense, we did several workshops to include their different standards and also revise the guideline. The last validation workshop was beginning of September, and it was also very successful.
The move reaffirms its commitment to efficient land use and sustainable development.
You're still watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV. Let's bring you some other stories relating to matters up north. The Asante Otumfuo II II is set to hold the final mediation talks on the Boku chieftaincy conflict on November 30 and December 1, 2025. Our statement from the Mencha Palace says the two-day session marks a critical step toward lasting peace in Boko, which has faced decades of tension over traditional leadership claims. Otumfuo Osei II has been leading the national mediation process in his capacity as a respected traditional leader known for his conflict resolution efforts across Ghana. The Boko conflict, which centers on competing claims to the traditional king, has long affected peace and development in the Upper East region. It has cost the lives of dozens, destruction of properties, among others. The palace, however, praised both factions for their cooperation and urged all parties to avoid actions that could derail progress. Let's have a conversation with our Ashanti regional correspondent Isaac Justice Bediako to give us some more updates on this development. Isaac, good evening. Thanks that you could join us. Tell us more what form the mediation will take on November 30 and December 1. Isaac, can you hear me? We are trying to make contact with our Ashanti regional correspondent Isaac Justice Bediako, who would give us some more updates on the mediation process. As was mentioned to you earlier, the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei II is set to hold the final mediation talks on the Boko chieftaincy conflict on November 30 and December 1, 2025. Now, the statement from Mencha confirming this says that this two-day session marks a critical step towards lasting peace in the Boko enclave, which has faced decades of tension over traditional leadership claims. Let's try and make contact with our Ashanti regional correspondent, Isaac Justice Bediako again. Isaac, if you can hear me, I was asking what form will the mediation process take on November 30 and December 1? You're still watching News Tonight. After this break, we'll bring you more. On Insight tonight, the investigation that probed the August 26 helicopter crash at Adansi from near Obuasi has confirmed that the sudden changes in weather conditions caused the tragic accident. The GHOne helicopter went down, killing 5 passengers and 3 crew members en route to Obuasi on an anti-illegal mining mission. Presenting key findings and recommendations at a press briefing at the presidency, the investigation team led by Captain Paul Fojo, noted that although the pilot had no formal weather information for the route, the aircraft was airworthy and the pilot were fit to fly. Presidential Affairs Correspondent Abdul Hanan Adam reports.
After nearly 3 months of investigations into the tragic GHOne military helicopter crash at Adansi Ekro from near Obuasi, the acting defense minister, Dr. Kasila Toforson, led the investigative committee established to prove the crash on Monday to present its findings to President Mahama at a National Security Council meeting held at the presidency. The report, which detailed the circumstances leading to the tragic crash, claiming 8 lives, including the late former defense minister, Dr. Edward Omaniboama, and the Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Muhammad, en route for an anti-illegal mining mission, also provided recommendations to avert further incidents.
The aircraft on the day was declared serviceable and duly signed off by both the engineers and the captain. The flight data report indicates that the helicopter was in good working condition. The helicopter, however, did not have some avionic safety enhancements.
But what exactly caused the crash? Captain Paul Fojo, retired, the team's lead investigator, explains.
Seconds before impact, the crew stated that they could see the high ground below, so they'd gone over it. Suddenly thereafter, the helicopter that was flying up without any change in its power or in the pitch which we use to go up and down, suddenly lost height and impacted a ridgeline at about 1370 feet above sea level. And this was about 6.5 miles from the destination, and this happened at 9:58. The investigation determined that the accident was caused by the sudden loss of altitude and lift due to downdraft. This loss of altitude without change in power or pitch altitude is consistent with downdraft associated with changing environmental conditions over high terrain.
The investigation also established that even though the pilot did not have formal weather information on the flight route, Captain Fojo, retired, stressed that the helicopter was airworthy but without additional safety enhancements.
The helicopter was airworthy, but it lacked additional safety enhancements. For instance, the terrain awareness warning system. Now, the terrain awareness warning system, for instance, is predictive. So what it does is it tells you, warns you, it gives you a better picture of the situation and puts the pilots in puts them in a position to make better judgments, to be able to see everything and be able to foretell if there are any things that could possibly create a problem.
However, in response to a critical question of why the pilot did not make an emergency landing to avert the crash, Captain Paul Fojo, retired, who is also a member of the Aircraft Accident and Incident Investigation and Prevention Bureau of Ghana, said the call remains the pilot's discretion.
I would like to presume that when you say emergency landing, you mean a diversion. Because an emergency landing is when something goes wrong with the plane, because nothing ever went wrong with the plane. The decision to continue or to do an intermediate landing is the discretion of the captain. The captain was confident that he didn't need to do it. That is why he didn't do it.
Meanwhile, after weeks of technical analysis, visiting the crash site and interviews with external collaborators, the committee also made some transformative recommendations, including the modernization of the Ghana Air Force.
We have recommended that the Air Force acquire modern aircraft with terrain avoidance warning systems, and modern navigation systems. That the aircraft should have cockpit voice recorders and flight data recorders, which are the audiovisual capable types. That the Air Force should invest in simulators for recurrent training. That they contract certified aviation weather provider or providers, and that Ghana as a nation should try to have en route navigational aids, especially in remote areas.
The report incorporated inputs from the Ghana Air Force, the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, and international aviation experts. Reporting for GHOne News, Abdulhanan Adam, Accra.
Let's have a conversation on this matter with Wing Commander retired Patrick Nelson Sobojon. Good evening, sir, and we're grateful that you could join us for this all-important conversation. From the report, it says that there was nothing wrong with the plane, but our school of thoughts wondering exactly how much details has been given to the public and how much really has not been given to the public. From where you sit, the school of thought saying that the aircraft was due for maintenance. Some days were requested for before the maintenance from 18th April even up to August 18. From where you sit, could we have avoided this crash in any way possible, any human way possible?
Good evening, sir. I think the Board of Inquiry has given an ideal and comprehensive report of what went on, what happened. Did you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Kindly go ahead, please. I missed out earlier because there was a break in the line.
Okay, I'm saying that the Board of Inquiry has given a very comprehensive report. Comprehensive and detailed report. And the most important thing that we wanted to know was the serviceability state of the aircraft.
Right.
And it showed that the aircraft is fully airworthy. The pilots also certified that the plane was fit to undertake the trip. The third factor is the weather factor, which nobody has control. Hello?
Yes, I'm listening to you.
Yes, so that's what I said that. Earlier on when the crash happened, your station called me, and I said the most important thing was to find out why did the plane lose height to come and crash. And now the Board of Inquiry told us that it was not the aircraft not being airworthy or the pilot not being properly trained.
Right.
But they ran into a downdraft weather. And even though they tried to get out, it didn't happen. So the plane hit something and it crashed. So the crash is the effect of the weather.
Right. I mean, the report eliminates any form of human error in this whole crash.
No human error.
Right. Now, going forward, the recommendation of the committee that looked at the whole tragic incident looks at a matter of concern that our aircrafts are not really modern, and so they are asking for the aviation space, the Ghana Air Force, to look at acquiring modernized aircrafts. And from my lack of understanding of the space, the systems that the committee suggested, could we not have gotten those in place earlier up until now? Perhaps you can give us some more clarity for those who are wondering why we're not using some of these modernized aircrafts now.
My dear, it's like buying a car 10 or 20 years ago. I want the car to have all the gadgets you have today. It doesn't work that way. Now, when you go to buy, let's say you need to do a normal car automobile. They don't do automobile for millionaires or do for sponsors. Basically, the self is done. And they provide you the basic requirements.
Right.
If you want an external aircraft, you request for it and you pay for it as it's being sold. But now let's come back to this helicopter. They just didn't come to Ghana. They've been flying all over. Okay?
Right.
Night, day and night. From your presidents on Transitor, and the rest. Were they not able to achieve this aim? They did. I mean, the items they are requesting for is modern, but it doesn't solve this old one to have compliance and it's fulfilling the assignment of some. Are you with me?
I am with you. The committee suggests.
You have the new announcement, yes. But it doesn't preclude them performing the task which is allotted to them. If the particular airplane cannot do it, they will change and take another one.
Right. Now, the final question I'll put to you because of your experience with the sector is the lack of simulator training exercises that the committee flagged. It's quite a critical factor. How soon should the Ghana Armed Forces consider implementing some of the requirement that has been proffered by the committee?
The Ghana Air Force has a data for the GHOne. But you see, for example, I was trained without a simulator. In Italy, I was just to use a link trainer. Flight simulator is only to enhance your flying. When you do hours in simulator, you go and do half of it actual flying. It's the actual flying which will qualify you as a pilot, not flight simulator.
Right.
You understand? And flight simulator, some of them are bought according to the type of equipment. I don't think Ghana Air Force can buy 10 different flight simulators for all the planes. We can only get the basic one. But flight simulators don't make pilots.
Wing Commander Patrick Nelson Sobojo, we are grateful that you could join us with your insights on this particular matter. We've been speaking largely on the committee report that details that indeed no human error from either the pilots or the engineers led to the tragic incident that happened on August 2025. And that does it for Insight. Stay with us. We have more on this broadcast. Nigeria have pledged stronger collaboration to fight human trafficking and other transnational crimes threatening security across the sub-region. The commitment follows a high-level bilateral meeting in Abuja, where both countries agreed to set up a joint task force and intensify intelligence sharing. More from our security desk.
The Ghana Police Service and the Nigeria Police Force have renewed their joint commitment to curb human trafficking and related cross-border crimes. The meeting, held in Abuja, was co-chaired by Ghana's Director General of the Criminal Investigations Department, COP Leader Yako Donko, and Nigeria's Deputy IGP, Dr. Sadiq Abubakar. Senior officials from both law enforcement and intelligence agencies discussed new trends in human trafficking and cyber-enabled crimes, emphasizing the urgent need for coordinated regional action. Nigeria's Deputy IGP, Abubakar, praised Ghana's proactive role in initiating the meeting during the Interpol Africa Regional Conference earlier this year.
Participants recognize that trafficking threatens the ECOWAS protocol on free movement, undermines regional security, and drains law enforcement resources. Both delegations emphasized the need for stronger intelligence sharing, interagency collaboration, and joint preventive action. The meeting concluded with both delegations reaffirming their shared commitment to dismantle trafficking networks, protect victims, and sustain bilateral dialogue under the frameworks of Interpol and ECOWAS cooperation.
Ghana's CID boss, COP Leader Donko, reaffirmed Ghana's commitment to sharing intelligence and conducting joint operations.
We have victims, suspects from the sub-region, but between our two countries, the numbers are huge. So I guess because we speak English, they find it easy to come here or to come to Ghana. So there's a need for us to work together to do much more in this fight against cybercrime. We are all signatories to the Palermo Protocol, hence the need for us to work together to ensure that we are doing much more for our various citizens across our borders.
The two countries agreed to establish a joint task force, appoint focal officers for real-time information exchange, and develop standard protocols for victim repatriation and referral. They also plan to roll out a joint awareness campaign in broader communities and convene a meeting of West Africa police chiefs to harmonize anti-trafficking strategies. The meeting ended with the signing of a communique reaffirming the shared determination of Ghana and Nigeria to dismantle trafficking networks and protect victims under the frameworks of ECOWAS and Interpol.
Ghanaians no longer have to travel to the capital, Accra, or rely on middlemen to apply for Gazette services. This is after the launch of the e-Gazette system by the Ghana Publishing Company Limited, which is accessible on all devices. Speaking at a press briefing in Accra, the company's managing director, Nana Kwesi Buete, says the platform is part of the company's ongoing digital transformation agenda aimed at improving efficiency and accessibility.
Ghanaians over the years have faced challenges accessing the official Gazette services. Many have had to join long queues, travel long distances, forcing them to rely on middlemen to fast-track the application process. However, Managing Director of the Ghana Publishing Company Limited, Nana Kwesi Buate, while addressing the media in Accra, said those problems are now a thing of the past.
You now can apply for a Gazette with your mobile phone or anywhere you sit by the computer. We are leveraging on this transformation, digital transformation, to make sure that Ghanaians living everywhere can now apply for Gazette. What it means is that you no longer have to go through a Goro boy somewhere who will take your money and give you assurance that he'll give you a Gazette and give you a fake one. You can sit at the comfort of your home, take out your mobile phone, go to our website and apply for a Gazette.
He noted that the move forms part of the company's digital transformation agenda to leverage technology in improving its services.
We will continue to leverage on innovations like this to make the services we provide here more accessible to Ghanaians. We owe it a duty to you. Now, today, we want to officially indicate to the whole Ghana that e-Gazette is a reality. Now, when you take your mobile phone, you can apply for Gazette. Online, you don't need to walk to the Ghana Publishing Company premises.
The company says the initiative is expected to eliminate unnecessary hurdles, giving Ghanaians full control over the applications and ensuring that official documents are authentic and easy to verify.
This is News Tonight on GHOne TV. We have the business brief up next.
The business brief is brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
In less than 72 hours, the Minister for Finance, Dr. Kasil Atuba-Forson, will be on the floor of Parliament to present the 2026 budget statement and economic policy of the government for the year ahead. Now, this will be the second budget which the John Dramani Mahama government would be presenting. It is expected to focus on job creation, economic stabilization, and fiscal discipline, while sustaining the gains made the entire year and even under the Extended Credit Facility Program with the IMF. The government hopes to maintain strong fiscal discipline in the year ahead and maintain strong macroeconomic indicators. Now, with expectations high from sector players, even following engagement by the finance minister with all stakeholders, the petroleum sector wants government to give some account of the 1 cedi energy sector recovery levy in the year ahead. Now, many expectations from other business communities looks at matters of import tax, especially from the IEAG special import levy of 2%. They are seeking for it to be struck as well. The COVID levy, they are seeking for that to be struck as well. The finance minister had already hinted at the reformation of the VAT regime in the country, and many are looking forward to that particular reforms announced in the 2026 budget. But speaking of the COVID levy, the Abose Okai Spare Parts Dealers Association, they are pressing on government to, as a matter of urgency, scrap the COVID-19 levy and other taxes that contribute to their price build-up.
We subsidies, I think gradually the government is addressing it gradually because of the SA rates, how the city will be more resilient, very strong. It's happening. Everybody can see it. And talk about the tax, for instance. How many people are paying tax in this country? Less than 30%. Only 6 million Ghanaians have been filing their tax. 8 million, they are not filing their tax. So pressure on those are paying the tax. So now the president said they are going to rationalize the tax system. That's the reforms. That's what we're expecting the government to do, or what we want to hear. The COVID-19, for instance, we're expecting it will be scrapped. There are 1 or 2 draconian taxes that's affecting our businesses. We expect that the minister will talk about it and how they are going to form some financial into the spare parts industry, because the spare parts industry gradually is collapsing because you are not getting any support from anywhere.
Now, as the spare parts dealers are seeking for a scrap of that COVID levy, oil sector players are demanding accountability for what the 1 cedi energy sector recovery levy, which was imposed somewhere in the middle of this year. The 1 cedi levy, they are seeking for government to account on collections received. So far, we've been joined by the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, Dr. Rivers Nopon. Doc, good evening. We are grateful that you could join us. Ahead of the presentation, that 1 cedi levy, one would ask, that accountability, you want to see how it's been put to use so that it's been scrapped? It will be scrapped in 2026, or are you looking for that if it's doing some good work for us, we should keep it?
Yeah, that's right. For us as a chamber, or as an industry, let me put that way, I believe that if the government promised us for accountability on how this money, first of all, is being accrued, and then also, secondly, what it's being used for. We are expecting that the government, reading the budget for next year, will tell us how much has been accrued and what it's being used for. I mean, what debt is being used to clear. And if it's for fuel, if it's for power generation, you want to know. And apparently, also looking at how the government is going to see the special petroleum tax going forward from next year, because it was a plea from February of this year from the chamber for the government to look at the special petroleum tax on the existing petroleum pump prices. One other tax that we are looking forward for the government to review is the LPG pricing aspect. We believe that for LPG to be to have that high penetration rate that the government is looking out for by 2025 or by at the end of 2025 or 2030, we need to look at the affordability aspects of the product. Yeah, so we do have the expectation of hearing from the Minister of Finance coming 2 or 3 days.
You've mentioned some taxes in the price build-up. About the LPG prices, government is looking to establish the second gas processing plant. For next year, as a chamber, are you looking to hear some significant work, some commitments by the government to actually ensure that we have more offtake from local resources? And also, are you looking for some policies that will align Ghana towards taking, we have Dangote refinery, we have the Temaoyo refinery. Are you looking at taking more fuel within the sub-region? Are you looking at policies that will ensure that your cost of operations as COMAC and your members will not be so high?
Right, that's true. But I mean, you know, constructing GPP Train 2, that's the gas processing plant 2, might not guarantee, I would say, extra LPG per se, except that the technology that Ghana Gas plan to use will extract more liquids than the existing plant, which is good. But that also depends on the source of raw gas or the natural gas coming from the upstream. We all know that the 10-field gas is too dry to extract much LPG as compared to the gas coming from Jubilee Field. So, and already the gas coming from Sankofa is dry gas, so there's no extraction. You just go join the lean gas from Atuabo to it. So let's look at that economics from that perspective. Regardless of that, MPA has established the bidding round for LPG sales. It has its own operational efforts. However, it's managed to bring the price of LPG importation down. However, we need to look at the taxes imposed on LPG specifically. And I believe the chamber has spoken with MPA, and we are proposing, a full regulated pricing for LPG, where some taxes can be taken away, and also have a specified cost, the end product cost to the end user. At the barest minimum, so that the ordinary Ghanaian can afford it. You may not know, but we normally see smuggling of LPG from Ivory Coast to Ghana because it's much cheaper there.
Dr. Rivers Nopon, we are grateful that you could speak with us here on this broadcast. Dr. Rivers Nopon is the Chief Executive Officer for the Chamber of Oil Markets and Companies. That does it for the business brief. After this break, we've got sports.
The business brief was
And welcome to Sports. Captain Jordan Ayew, together with Mohamed Kudus and Thomas Partey, have been left out of Ghana's squad for the upcoming international friendlies against Japan and South Korea. Meanwhile, striker Prince Kobna Owusu has earned his first call-up into the Black Stars after scoring 6 goals for his club in Czech Republic. He's joined by fellow debutants Kelvin Nkrumah of Mediama SC and Prince Osei-Wusu of FC Montreal in the MLS, who has scored 9 goals so far in the game. Left back GHOne is also eligible to make his debut for Ghana after completing his nationality switch through FIFA. Otoa decided to lead the team out tomorrow in Nagoya ahead of the 2025 Kirin Cup clash against Japan on Friday. Tuesday in a Kirin Cup being held in Asia. So the Black Stars Asian Tour is on with a squad released by Coach Otto Addo. Let's do some marathon stories here in Ghana's capital. Accra came to life as elite long-distance runners and thousands of fitness enthusiasts hit the streets of Accra for this year's FNB Accra Marathon. A student at the University of Ghana, David Nokosi, and Kenya's Florence Watetu were crowned winners of this year's championship held in Accra over the weekend.
Students of the the finish line in the 21 kilometers ahead of everyone to win the first National Bank Accra Marathon title. In a very competitive race, Nakusi, who won the 2024 edition in the 15-kilometer race event, successfully defended his title by outpacing all other competitors to the crown. This year's event, organized by the Dansuman Keep Fit Club, attracted a high number of participants from Ghana and parts of Africa. Speaking to the media after his victory, Nakusi shared his excitement and determination to represent Ghana at international marathon events.
I am so excited to take the title again. In fact, I am so happy. I've done this. As I'm going back, I'll work harder and I'll go and train harder because that one is the international marathon. And I'll work hard and then go and defend and then get a good name for Ghana and for myself and my family and my friends.
While Kenya's Florence Watetu, who won the women's division, has attributed her success to discipline and good preparation.
I just trained hard and I was focused on what I was doing. I just followed my program and that. The plan, I will just participate in more marathons because my aim is to become an international athlete.
In the half marathon division for both male and female were awarded a 10,000 Ghana cedis cash prize and gifts from sponsors. Special recognition was also given to Frederick Kweku Selassie, a 12-year-old, and Wapipi, a 73-year-old, for being the youngest and oldest to partake in the competition. First National Bank Accra Marathon concluded on a high note with several participants recognized for their outstanding performance. For Francis Boateng Entry, EIB Sports.
Let's end with some football. So the Black Princess finished their campaign in the 2025 WAFO B and 20 Girls Cup with a defeat to Nigeria in their final game of the competition in Benin. Nigeria scored twice in the opening 40 minutes of action to take advantage into the break. Nigeria got a third goal in the closing stages of the game to put the game beyond the limit of the Queens, or the Princesses, to ensure a double win over Ghana, having also beaten them in the first encounter in the competition. So Nigeria defeating Ghana again 3-0 to end up as winners of the WAFO B Girls Championship held in Benin and ended today in Benin. So that's it for sports. Back to you, man, for the rest of the bulletin.
Thank you, Bengazi, for the updates. Let's now bring you the latest now on the international front. On the foreign front, Ethiopia has been confirmed as the host of COP32 United Nations Climate Summit in 2027. The official announcement was made during the ongoing COP30 conference today, Tuesday, November 11, 2025. This event, often referred to as the Africa COP, is expected to concentrate on Africa's involvement in promoting climate solutions and justice. Ethiopia secured the bid over a competing proposal from Nigeria, gaining unanimous support from other African nations. Addis Ababa, the capital of Ethiopia, will be the venue for the summit. The city has recently positioned itself as a significant diplomatic center, hosting numerous international conferences and summits. That does it for the bulletin. Many thanks for your company. My name is Emmanuel Agyabeng. Have a wonderful evening.